Once upon a time, there was a house that no one visited anymore. It stood at the edge of the town, grand but forgotten. Its windows darkened by heavy drapes and its halls filled with silence. The house had belonged to Marissa's grandmother, a woman she barely remembered, who had lived out her final days alone within its walls. When her grandmother passed, Marissa inherited the estate, though she hadn't stepped foot in the house for years. She couldn't avoid it any longer. Now, standing before its towering doors, the weight of the old iron key in her hand, she felt a sense of unease. The house loomed over her like a shadow from her past, its many rooms filled with old secrets. The doors groaned as they opened, revealing the dim interior. Dust danced in the air as Marissa stepped inside, the familiar scent of age and abandonment filling her lungs. As a child, she had always been wary of this place, particularly the mirrors. There were so many of them, large and ornate, hanging in nearly every room. Her grandmother had loved them, but to Marissa, they were unsettling. She used to feel like the reflections in those mirrors held more than just her image. Now, as she walked deeper into the house, she could feel it again, an unseen presence watching her, lurking in the darkened glass. Marissa moved through the house, her footsteps echoing on the wooden floor as she explored each room. The furniture was covered with sheets, and the mirrors, though dusty, still seemed to catch the faintest light and reflect it eerily across the walls. She couldn't shake the feeling that something in the house was watching her. That night, as she unpacked her belongings in the bedroom, she caught a glimpse of something in the corner of her eye. She froze. The large mirror above the dresser reflected the room behind her, but she swore there was a figure standing there pale, with hollow eyes. Her breath quickened, and she spun around only to find the room empty. It was just her imagination, she told herself. The house was old, and the mirrors played tricks in the dim light. But as the days passed, the figure returned, sometimes faint, sometimes clear. No matter how quickly she turned, it was always gone by the time she looked directly. The face became more familiar, more defined a woman, but not one Marissa recognized. One evening, determined to prove to herself that it was nothing, Marissa stood in front of the mirror and stared at her own reflection. For a moment, it was just her, the room behind her, dim and silent. But then, slowly, the figure emerged again. This time, it didn't disappear when Marissa turned. Instead, the reflection in the mirror stayed still, the woman's hollow eyes meeting hers. Marissa's heart pounded as the figure's lips twisted into a cruel smile.